I quit my 9-to-5 job to move to Japan to wrestle. By far the biggest life-changing experience that I've ever made.
So I just landed, first stop, got water sprayed up my ass.
If pro wrestling was fake, then explain this to me.
Who's the daddy? How would you describe Shreddy in one Japanese word? Crazy Evan Daddy! Crazy Evan Daddy!
But was it worth it? Over the series of videos, I'm going to show you all of the crazy things I got up to, like receiving my Ribera jacket, wrestling in a literal junkyard,
4th of July in Japan. Wrestling is art.
getting banned for life out of Gold's Gym, and then how I was able to get back into Gold's Gym. There was loads of stuff that I got up to, so please do subscribe to stay up to date with this journey. But by the end of this video, you will know if quitting my 9-to-5 to move to Japan to wrestle was worth it, or if I regret this big change in my life. Spoiler alert, there's no scenario where quitting your 9-to-5 is not worth it. My name is Shreddy, a professional wrestler and NABA Mr. Britain bodybuilding champion.
We arrived in Japan yesterday. Today is my first full day. First thoughts, mixed. The experience yesterday was amazing. Went out for a sponsored dinner, which was the first time I've ever done anything like that. That was interesting. We got to see Shibuya. It was good getting the train, being out in the city. The area I'm staying at is nice. The living conditions of where I'm staying at, very different to what I was expecting. Very different in the dojo. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rougher experience living-wise than I thought, especially with balancing my business and PhD work and everything else I've got going on. So we might actually get some accommodation to kind of be able to do the things that I need to do outside of just wrestling. I think if I was 10 years younger and I had no other responsibilities, nothing going on, it'd be fine. But I've got responsibilities outside of wrestling that I need to keep going, I need to keep doing while I'm away here in Japan. So yeah, I think there's going to have to be a bit of a change made to the living accommodation situation before I'm going to be able to settle in and get things done properly.
So first of all, for anybody new to the channel, my name is Adam. I'm a pro wrestler chasing the WWE dream. I am a competitive bodybuilder. I've won the NABA Mr. Great Britain title. I've placed in the top 3 at the NABA Worlds in Australia. I've competed and placed in the top 5 multiple times at the NABA Universe. I run my own digital marketing business, and I am currently studying for my PhD, researching nostalgic marketing with a focus on wrestling. So I have quite a busy lifestyle, and this lifestyle is one of the reasons why I quit my job in the first place, to help me pursue that dream of WWE. So one of the stepping stones, or one of the things I wanted to do in my wrestling journey, was wrestle in Japan, and I'm going to tell you why. But before we get into that, it's important to talk about why I actually quit my job, my 9-to-5 job, to actually pursue this. The reason why I left my job is because I was lied to by the owner of the company, my boss at the time. I was told when I started the job that I would get shares in the company. Big mistake and big lesson learned here. If you were ever promised something like this, get it in a contract and get it in writing. It was a harsh lesson for me to learn, because I did learn out the hard way. And ultimately what led to me leaving was in 2022. We came back from the Christmas break. January, first day back. We had celebrated just before breaking for Christmas a contract renewal that was worth 700k. And I didn't single-handedly get this contract renewed, but I was the project lead, and it was because of me leading and managing the project, which is why we got the contract extension. You would think that would be cause for, if anything, more money or more perks, more rewards. We came back out the day after Christmas. Our holiday allowance had been reduced, so there was an understanding that I was also able to lecture. That was part of the agreement when I joined the company. And I was allowed to do that until I wasn't. And the reason I wasn't is because the owner of the company became a greedy, greedy man, and this stemmed from an incorrect tax return going to the accountants of the company that overestimated what I was earning at university. The figure was impossible to earn. You could not earn that much money. My boss took that as Adam's earning more money than me. So the owner of the company that was employing me thought because I was earning more money from him from my combined university work and my wage, he wanted to put an end to my lecturing. So the writing was on the wall for me pretty much the first working day of January 2022. I made plans to leave that company and set up business on my own to also be able to go and pursue wrestling in Japan.
So today has been an off day from wrestling, but it's probably been the fucking peak of the trip. I could pack my bags now. The jacked stacked could get packed and head home because we smashed a Japanese guy at Street Fighter. Just smashed this lad. One more? One more now? Just smashed this lad at Street Fighter in Japan. And honestly, how can the trip get any better than this? I've missed the train home in the arcade pissing about, so now I'm walking home for an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to do some exploring at night in Tokyo, the mean streets of Tokyo.
Without setting up on my own, without leaving employment, I would not have been able to not just go to Japan, but have so many of the opportunities that I've had over the past 3 years. Financially, I'm in a much better place. I don't want to say that to brag, but it's the way things are. I am in a much better financial place. But what I enjoy, or what I appreciate more, so the position I'm in now, is the freedom, the flexibility in the schedule to chase the things that I'm really passionate about and to put more time and effort into the things that I truly care about. I would not have been able to do this trip to Japan. When I knew I had that freedom, the first goal was to go and wrestle in Japan. It's something I've always wanted to do ever since starting wrestling back in 2016. Always wanted to go and wrestle in Japan because growing up as a kid, have always been influenced and enjoyed Japanese media. All of the things growing up as a kid, and a lot of those things that I'm still a fan of now as an adult, which is one of the reasons I'm studying a PhD in nostalgic and retro marketing, stemmed from my childhood, and a lot of these things originated in Japan. So Japan's somewhere I've always wanted to visit just because of the lifestyle I've got and the interests and the things that I'm into. But from a wrestling perspective, I started watching Japanese wrestling as a teenager on YouTube in the very early days of YouTube. Now, I grew up a WWE fan. I did not grow up a wrestling fan. I'm not ashamed to say that. A lot of the big name WWE superstars started their careers off, or didn't start, but early on in their careers, wrestled in Japan for various different promotions. That, plus my fandom of Japanese media and culture, it was just something I've always wanted to do. So that is why I wanted to go to Japan to wrestle, but also I wanted to immerse myself within wrestling. I wanted to be able to go and just focus, 3, 4, 5 days a week, wrestling training, plus wrestling shows, doing the wrestling tours, and just completely immerse myself to level up as a wrestler, to become much better in a shorter space of time.
No pocket. Just a knife.
So it's time to depart for the first show. And here we are on the big Japan bus. It is a big bus. So we've been on the road for about 2 and a bit hours, had about an hour's sleep, and we're hitting our first service station. We got some, Weatherby, eat your heart out.
Long story short, I enjoyed the trip, I enjoyed the experience, and I would go again. And I, in fact, am going back to Japan with a different wrestling promotion, Kyushu Pro Wrestling, ran by Tajiri. I am going back to do a tour with those guys. My first trip, though, I think I put Japanese wrestling on a pedestal that was never going to live up to those expectations. The wrestling was a lot like what it is back home. There's some really good wrestlers, some not so good wrestlers. The training wasn't as frequent as I would have liked it to have been, unfortunately. So I think I just set myself up for disappointment in some ways with this trip. So to say I didn't enjoy myself, because I did. I loved it. It was the trip of a lifetime. It was an amazing experience, as we'll see, you know, as we go through the vlogs and the videos. But I definitely put it on a pedestal, and I was almost setting myself up for disappointment because it was never going to live up to the expectations that I'd kind of set for the trip. Unknowingly, obviously, at the time, I didn't realise that that's what I was doing, but it was a really good trip and a really good life experience. And I would encourage anyone who is wanting to do something with their life that they're not currently doing, if they're unhappy in a job or even a career currently, and you know you have a passion somewhere else, as long as you're not being delusional, I would encourage you to chase that dream. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but if you genuinely believe that you can achieve something, go for it. So on the channel, I'm going to be uploading individual videos, kind of covering different aspects of my time in Japan. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below, because I can answer them in future videos. Or if you've got any ideas for videos, let me know, because I can make a video about that as well. What I've done since Japan, though, has been amazing. Over the past year, I've been able to work with WWE. I've made it onto WWE SmackDown. I have got to work with EW. I've got an invite to go back to Japan. I've been all over Europe. I've done so much in wrestling. Outside of wrestling, within bodybuilding, I've been to Australia and competed in the NABA Worlds, placing the top 3 out of all amateurs in the world. So Japan really kind of sparked off a little bit of like positive momentum for me with wrestling. And obviously now I want to continue building on that momentum to ultimately chase my goal of WWE. So hopefully all of the work and the graft that I'm putting into this will hopefully one day pay off. You can follow me on socials to stay up to date with what I'm up to wrestling and bodybuilding wise. Subscribe to always be notified of when my videos drop. But until next time, keep clanging and banging.